Jacket is a character from Hotline Miami who kills a lot of people, and somehow this guy is supposed to be defended in a court hearing. Is it even possible for his lawyer to defend his actions? For this video, we're gonna pretend like the US and Russia didn't go to war, with the two eventually finding a compromise in peace treaties, aka no nuke. One of the first things that would be brought up is Jacket's military service, but to get an idea of how he fought and his character, we would need someone from his squad to be alive to testify. For our purposes, the general's in custody, so he can't and probably wouldn't serve as a witness. Beard is dead. And both Barnes and Daniels are MIA due to the power plant explosion, and presumably KIA, so that's not a great start. However, the fans were also stationed in Hawaii, and they would be definitely up to support their idol. The prosecution would probably highlight their bias though, so their testimony could be seen as iffy. If the defendants could find Jacket's ex, who was mentioned a few times, then maybe they could get a better feel of his character, but as of right now, all they have to go off of is Jacket's own word and the bodies left in his wake, and the fact that his previous girlfriend was found dead in his apartment. Moving on to post-war life, we know that after the Hawaii deployment, San Francisco was bombed, leading to the death of Beard. This combined with a recent breakup means that Jacket's emotional state was highly volatile and desperate to find something to do with his life while harboring feelings of hate towards the Russians. This is when Jacket would start receiving mysterious phone calls that vaguely sounded like his old system of encryption that was used by his squad in Hawaii. While there are no tapes of these calls, the defense is able to prove that there were in fact calls made on the dates that Jacket said there were, from a place associated with the Russian mob. While this is all fine and dandy, the real issue is the murders he committed and the alleged kidnapping of girlfriend. First, the kidnapping. Jacket could say he was saving her from the producer's villa, where she was used and drugged by the Russians for the purpose of presumably selling explicit videos of her with force. Unsurprisingly, I couldn't find a case of someone saving another person from a sex ring and then keeping them to personally make sure that they recovered, as most vigilante cases are revenge for killings or sex crimes. However, a police raid after the murders could provide enough evidence to support Jacket's sayings. Her murder could also be tied to Richter instead of Jacket, as both Jacket and girlfriend were shot with the same caliber bullet from the same gun. And Jacket couldn't have shot himself because of annoying ballistic shit I won't dive into right now, but simplify as Richter sitting down and at a distance that would make the idea of Jacket shooting himself silly. And also, he has no suicidal tendencies before or after that moment. Next, the murders. Up until Jacket gets shot by Richter, his defense could say he was being threatened on the phone to do the murders. Assuming the trial drags all the way out to Evan's book release, and even if it doesn't, his defense could argue that there's new evidence and adjust his sentence accordingly. We know that Jacket is one of many people who got phone calls, and Richter, another hitman, provided information about the fact that when people don't do as they say, the caller gets violent, the prime example being his car getting torched. This could make the jury more lenient for those killings and any with the Russian mob, as they are murderers, drug sellers, and sex traffickers. However, Jacket's police massacre is not very defendable. Killing 50 policemen tends to get you on the wrong side of the law, and frankly, I don't think there's a thing Jacket's lawyer could say to defend it. For reference, that's almost the amount of police deaths that happen in a year, and would be placed in first for the most police deaths in a single attack. The question of his sentencing isn't really an if, and is more of a how long. Unfortunately for Jacket, Florida is the leading member of the death penalty club, and for his murders of the police and the politicians he killed that I haven't mentioned yet, he would definitely be getting the needle, or chair. I know the insanity plea could possibly save him, but I believe the prosecutors will argue he's too put together to be considered mentally unwell, and even if he was placed in an asylum, they would argue he could just break out due to his experience and is a major flight risk as he broke out of the hospital while under surveillance. It wasn't very good surveillance, but it was there nevertheless. So that's that. No matter what his lawyer pulled, I doubt Jacket would be making it out alive, and almost impossible to do so freely. Thanks to this guy for giving me the video idea.
You're being relocated.